Hello and welcome. My name is Asherah. This is very much going to be a shamanic reading to go with my shamanic PhD series. Today is the 26th of December 2025 and it's 11:45 or 11:42 a.m. And I'm doing this video because I just done a shamanic journey. My shamanic practitioner tutor, Stacey, had sent me a shamanic drum video last month, but I didn't listen to it. So I was lying here on my bed and I was like, Spirit has been trying to get me to relax for several days now. And I said I was going to start relaxing from after the meal on the 24th, but to be honest, I've been struggling to relax. I was sitting down thinking, should I play my shamanic drum? I was thinking, should I get it off my wardrobe? And I thought, do you know what? Spirit reminded me about the video or the voice note or the recording that Stacey had sent, so I played that instead. So I was like, put the TV on pause because I was listening to some spirituality versus witchcraft and science video, and I put it on pause and I just tried to sit with myself, and I felt so restless. It's like I've got so much high anxiety. And when I break down where the anxiety is coming from, it's not coming from any specific place, which is an indication that it's not my anxiety, it's energy coming into me. Does that make sense? So just like we have to check our thoughts as they come in. You know, are they our thoughts? Are they our parents' thoughts? Are they society's thoughts? Are they demonic thoughts? Whatever. But just like we have to check our thoughts, you then have to start checking your emotions. I mean, it can be done all at the same time, but whatever. But you have to check that the emotions, the feelings that you're feeling are actually your feelings. So I know that this anxiety is not my anxiety, but at the same time, there is quite a bit going on at the moment, energetically, spiritually, and also physically. So I started to play the music. I didn't even check how long it was, to be fair, but I just played it the first time. And the first time I just let my mind run free. You know what I mean? I was focusing on my breathing while also just observing my mind run free. And it did. It ran from one topic to the next topic, etc. So then I said I'm going to play it a second time, but this time I'm going to do one of the shamanic journeys where you're led up a path. You meet someone. They potentially give you something or don't give you something. You head up and continue up the path to a door. You knock on the door, someone opens it, they let you in. When you go through the threshold and through the first floor, out the back of the building, there's a bridge, and you walk over to the bridge and you stand on the bridge and you look into the stream. Does that make sense? And then the drum beats take you higher and higher. So then you're no longer telling yourself, you're no longer guiding yourself through the journey once you get to the bridge. After the bridge, it's almost like you surrender and now you just observe. So when I got to the first gentleman, he handed me a pencil and a journal notebook, which I thought was very good because Spirit has been telling me to journal, which I haven't been journaling this week. And I haven't been watching much of the same YouTube videos either. It's like I've been going through a complete shift. So when I saw the journal, I thought, okay, that's like a third message now that I need to be journaling. Okay, received. When I got past the second man, I went through the house to the bridge. I actually didn't want to go in the water because you can choose to go in the water or not go into the water. So I felt like I'd made a choice not to go into the water because I didn't want to get my journal wet. I didn't want to get my paper journal wet. But then all of a sudden, as I looked over the bridge and watched this whirlpool start to take form and start to speed up, this excitement, this euphoric excitement came over me. And I just felt like this desire to just jump in the water. And I just jumped right in the eye of the whirlpool. And as I dived in the water, I just seen all these oxygen bubbles all around me because obviously I'd just fallen in the water and creating waves under the water. So as I'm creating waves and I'm seeing all these bubbles and oxygen, it's almost like a wave of water comes downstream, and now I'm gamboling downstream. It was so delightful. I'm gamboling underwater, and I'm just watching all these oxygen bubbles move around me as I'm gambling through the water, completely out of control. You know what I mean? But I've surrendered to having no control at the same time. So when I reach the bottom of the stream, I'm in clear water, and you can see all the pebbles, these like all different shades of brown, like a brown spectrum from cream right the way down. And as I stand up out the water and walk to get outside the water onto the actual land, and it's still the same pebbles on land, this staircase appears. This like this magical staircase appears, and this bright white light, well, yellowy light, and I start to make my way up the staircase, and I'm going and I'm going, and day turns into night, and night turns into day, and day turns into night. And I'm like, keep going, it's through the next door, and I've gone through a door, and there's more stairs. And night turns into day, and day turns into night. It's like there's 3 nights and 3 days I witness. And I start to think, hang on a minute, how long is this staircase going? I thought it's like the momentum and the excitement started to not necessarily dwindle, but because of my thought process, it was lowering. And my thought process was like, well, how long is this stairs? Like, we've been going day and night right about now, and we're still going. And then I just had this epiphany, like, the staircase is a representation of my life. You know what I mean? Like, on a physical level, I've been going through divorce proceedings since 2019. Does that make sense? And they only really ended this year in 2025, you know. And even now, there's childcare matters that need to be resolved. And I was just saying to Spirit, like, you know, is it that there's a continuation of this nonsense, basically? So this staircase was a representation of that in the physical world, but also spiritually. Like, I've been ascending since 2019, probably even before that, to be fair, probably 2018. 2018, I started to really ask the Almighty to change me, to break me down into mush and rebuild me. You know what I mean? So, you know, the process has been going on for a while, which again is a representation of these staircases. And when am I going to reach the end? But there is no ending in spiritual growth, perhaps. You know what I mean? Why we're still in a 3D body, anyhow. Because every second of every day is a new opportunity to learn something new about oneself and the universe and the divine and all creative things, but without going off subject. So that's the kind of energy that I was in when I got to this point up the staircase, to realize that the staircase had been going on for a while. So anyway, as I've thought this thought about going up the staircase for a while, and this staircase representing quite a few aspects in my life, particularly spiritually and physically in the 3D, I started to kind of have other downloads about the journey not being for the swift but for those who can endure it. And I did a video a few days ago talking about that I understand that it's more about the journey than it is about the destination. And obviously, as I was going up the stairs, in feelings of excitement to open up another door, excitement to keep going. The reason why there was excitement is because I was so desperate to get to the end. I was so desperate to get to the destination. I was being optimistic about getting there. The whole thought process was, I'm nearly there. Just this last staircase, just this last door, any minute now. Do you know what I mean? Like, what was on one of them ones as I'm going up these stairs? And as I'm sitting down here, I can't listening to my thought process and having these epiphanies and getting these downloads. I'm realizing as I'm on these staircases that it's not about that. It's not about the swiftness. It's not about the destination. Just chill. And that's when I hear about fruits of my... I said, I know I've done the work. Thank you, Princess. I said, I know I've done the work. I know I've done the work. Do you know what I mean? So because I've done the work, the destiny has to come anyway. The outcome has to come anyway. So why am I rushing it? And as I've thought that, I've been brought to a meditation that I had, or a vision that I had, when I was on the phone with my shamanic practitioner, and I was speaking to this particular snake entity that had come in, and they handed me fruits. Does that make sense? They handed me fruits, the fruits of my labor, the fruits of my abundance, the fruits of my rewards and efforts. And as I was thinking about the rewards and of effort and obedience and discipline, do you know what I mean? And surrender and faith and rendering all fear and believing and just literally just falling backwards, knowing that the Almighty is gonna catch me. Like, I don't even think about it on enough levels. I'm on autopilot, but on enough other levels I'm still learning, and this is one of those experiences that I'm learning from, realizing that I'm on this staircase trying to get to the top when it's not even about that. And as I realize that it's not about that, it's about the fruits of the labor, and it's about enjoying the journey. These fruits start to appear on the steps, and I sit down and I pick up the first fruit, and it's like, I don't know why, but because it's the second time I'm saying this now, I cannot still remember what the first fruit was that I picked up. But I know the second fruit I picked up was mango, and the first fruit I picked up the third one was avocado pear. But for some reason, it won't show me the first fruit that I picked up. And now I'm just trying to guess what it was. But it's so significant that, why don't I remember the first fruit when the first fruit licked my taste buds till I had a 3D sensation in my mouth, even though it was a visual 5D experience. But I had a 3D experience in my mouth, where my mouth started to salivate. Even now, thinking about it, my mouth is salivating, because the taste of the fruit was almost like I felt the electric signals that went off in my mouth and then into other nervous systems to tell me how good this was for me. Not just on a physical level where I'm eating fruit and the vitamins and the minerals are going in my body and the juices and etc in the flesh, but actually the electromagnetic or the electro signals energy in that fruit, and how that energy, that electric signals, was connecting with my electro signals. And that's what it felt like. And that's why I had a salivation reaction in the 3D when I tasted the first fruit. I went up 2 more steps and I picked up the mango and started to peel it with my hands and just indulge. All this mango juice is running down my face, and I'm just indulging in this mango, and it's so ripe and it's so soft, and it's like the perfect mango. It's like the perfect mango. And I step up 2 steps. It's like they've placed the fruits in a zigzag. So I've got to go to the left, to the right to get the mango after I've eaten the first fruit. And then to the left of the stairs to pick up the avocado to eat that. And I've eaten the avocado, and I'm telling you, the avocado didn't need any salt. It's almost like that avocado was borderlining having a sweet taste over a savory taste. You know what I mean? And it was bright yellow inside with just green on the outside where the skin had touched it as I was peeling the skin away. You know, I said it was so good. I nearly ate this damn seed, man. It was, and then Spirit was saying to me, like, why am I overindulging in the fruits? Like, I'm trying to pick up fruits on every couple of steps as I'm going up. I can't get enough of the fruit. And Spirit is like, why don't you just sit down and eat the fruit? And it's kind of like, this is why I can't relax. I started to have a go at myself. Like, this is why I can't relax, because I'm constantly rushing. I'm constantly thinking about all things and everything at the same time. Like, why can't I just sit down and eat the fruit? Why am I still trying to run up the staircase and enjoy the fruits at the same time? Because I always feel like I can do it all. Like, I've always had this idea that Rome can be built in a day. You know what I mean? I don't know why. But honestly, from a from a little girl. I would even say before I was a teenager. And my mum would say it to me all the time, Asherah, Rome was not built in a day. And I was like, well, why not? Why not? You can't build why Rome in a day. Like, I've always had this inner knowledge that you can build things quickly. And I am a builder, like I manifest very quickly. So, when I was 15 and a half and I said, I want a flat by the time I was 16, I had the flat before I was 16. Like, it just things in my life. If I say I want it, whatever the car is, whatever the house is, whatever the job is, whatever the whatever, if I say I want it, and that's the focus, and I'm visually, not even visually, I just say I want it. That's what I want. And I'm willing to do whatever it takes with the Almighty to get that. So if I say, this is what I want, Almighty, and then life starts to bring me down this direction, and I find hardship on a road, I don't look at the road as being hardship. I look at the road as being part of the agreement that the Almighty is putting me through in order to get the things that I want. Does that make sense? So on the outside, to people looking in my lifetime, it's looked as if I'm always getting what I want. It looks like I always get what I want. I put something down or I say something and I get it. But what people don't see is the work that gets put in to get it. It's not that I just manifest things and things just pop out the sky and I don't do anything. I haven't put anything on the table myself. No. I gotta put things on the table. I gotta put serious things on the table. I gotta work really hard to put those things on the table in order to be blessed with the things that I'm blessed with. And it sounds slightly transactional, and I guess in some respect there are elements of it that are transactional, but transactional doesn't always have to have a negative context to it. Does that make sense? Because there's it's contractional perhaps between the trees and human beings. We breathe out oxygen, they need oxygen, they breathe out carbon dioxide. We need we breathe out carbon dioxide, sorry. The trees need carbon dioxide, the trees give out oxygen, we need oxygen. That's a transaction. Do you know what I mean? In some respects it's a transaction. We're exchanging something that each other needs. There's an exchange going on there, or at least it's a perspective of what a transaction can look like that isn't negative. And I just feel that when it comes to the things that I focus on in my world, as long as I'm in alignment with the Almighty, as long as it's not harming anybody, as long as I know what the intentions behind the ask is positive, then there's no reason why I can't have it. But I don't just expect it. I'm not expecting the Almighty to just give it to me. I'm expecting to put work in for it. So it's not that I feel like I have to do something for the Most High in order to get something. No, it's an honor to do something for the Most High. And because I do something for the Most High, I get something. I hope that makes sense, because it's almost like saying the same thing, but it's not, because it's all about intention. I don't go and give to charity and then say to God, oh, God, I gave to charity today, so can I have this, please? Because that is the mindset of a lot of people that pray. Does that make sense? Like, a lot of people that pray, it's that is the transactional relationship. Like, I'm going to go and do a good deed. God will see that I've done a good deed, and then he will bless me with something. You know what I mean? Whereas my perspective on it is, what do you want me to do today, Almighty? That needs to be done. All right, let me go out and do that. What needs to be done tomorrow? Okay, let me go out and do that. And then because I've gone out and done that, because I've thought about thought about wanting something. Let me be clear. So I wanted a car. My car got stolen in 2022, and I didn't have a car until 2024. And the Almighty was like, you're not gonna get a car. You're not gonna have a car for now. But I wanted a car. Does that make sense? I wanted a car. So I says to the Almighty, okay then, I accept the fact that I'm not going to have a car right now. But I want to know that by me accepting that I'm not having a car right now, when I do get the car that I want this car. I want the car to be, I didn't say a specific brand, although I have said a specific brand. So I am expecting a specific brand. But at this particular point in my life, that brand of car that I've put on my ultimate wish list that I made in 2022, that's for later on in life, you know what I mean? But right now, I know that I want to go into a showroom and I want to drive out with a brand new car. And that was the agreement. That was the agreement. So my manifestation was that I want a brand new car. I didn't state the model or nothing. I just want to be able to drive out of a showroom with a brand new car. Yeah. So that was the agreement. So for 2 years, I had no car. I've got 5 kids. I've always drove from I was 17. I drive big cars, 7-seater. You know what I mean? My Land Rover that got stolen was a 7-seater. It's them big cars. I like big cars with big boots because I've got a big family. So having no car and having to sort out the kids, get them to school, sort out shopping. Oh my God. It was physically and it was emotionally. Even my children, they'd never carried bags before. Especially my younger ones, they'd never carried shopping before. Like, I remember my son moaning because we've got to go up the hill back to the house from the shopping centre. And he was carrying like 3 loaves of bread in a bag, and he was going on like he was carrying tins of beans and bottle of pops and everything. But he's only about 9 at the time, and I was just I was pulling one of those old people trolleys, those long trolleys that old people carry. I was dragging one of them up the hill. I had another bag on my shoulder. The kids had bags. I was like, Lord God Almighty, you know what I mean? But it wasn't a complaint thing. It was just, this is what you these are the staircases. These are the staircases, 1 foot in front of the other. Every single day, 1 foot in front of the other. And that was a 2 year stretch. 2 years. 2 years. You know what I mean? Literally having no car. Going on buses. I didn't even know how to catch the buses. I didn't even know how to catch trains. Having to get to London on a train. My God. The last time I went on a train to London, I think I was about 15, 16 or something like that. Because I've been driving since 17. My children have grown up with a car. That if they're going somewhere, Mum, can you drop me? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Can you pick me up? So even for them, like the bus, my daughter had anxiety. She couldn't get on the bus, man. She had anxiety, man. When it come to like her going to secondary school and then having to catch the bus. Oh my God. Do you know what I mean? I was having to pay for like taxis or get up early to drop them off at different locations with different taxis in the morning. Oh, it was a nightmare. It was a nightmare. But on the positive side, I walked a lot of places too. I haven't walked so much in all my life. you know, I used to do like 3-4 hour walks just in the park alone. I used to I walked from the house to shopping centres, like I said, far places and back again. And I seen things that I'd never seen before. Even going down roads that I'd gone down every single day for like 10 years. I was seeing new things because when you're driving, your face is just more or less facing forward, isn't it? You're not really paying attention to all the beauty on the road and all the different shortcuts and the different alleyways leading to different places. And I fell in love with nature. I saw birds, I saw animals, I saw insects, I saw flowers, because I was going places, the same places every day within walking distance. I was seeing how things were changing, but not just on a daily basis, seasonal. Like I watched, like just out my shower in the bathroom, I watched 3 autumns. I watched the leaves on the tree outside in the garden go from buds to green to yellow into red Does that make sense? And by the time autumn come, the leaves were blood red on the tree. And then I'd watch them all fall off again and then come back around into buds again. Like I was literally watching nature, I don't know, in a way that I'd never, just different levels. And all because I wasn't driving. So much came out of it. Honestly, so much came out of it. Even on the train, I went to different places on train, Shrewsbury and different local places in the West Midlands and everything that I would never have ventured down to perhaps if I was driving, because I was just so much on repeat, so much just on the hamster wheel of life, you know. But it caused us to change things considerably, you know. So me being on that journey and picking up all these fruits and wanting to eat them so quick, and Spirit was just like, but why? And I just started to sit down and I just started to just enjoy the fruits on the steps where I was. And it's like when I started to sit down and enjoy the fruits where I was, the fruits came to me. I was no longer climbing up the staircase, picking up fruits. There just was fruits around me, appearing in abundance. And not only that, I noticed that the stairs that was before where I still had to go, the stairs above me, was getting shorter and shorter. So the staircase was coming to me too. So as I was just sitting there, enjoying myself, indulging in the now, eating these fruits, sitting on this staircase, the very destination that I was chasing was actually just coming to me. And it was just so fucking symbolic. It was just so symbolic to say that, you know what, I need to be okay in the stillness. And I am okay. I am okay in the stillness. I find so much beauty in the stillness. The last 3 days I've been in my bed and I've just been in stillness, and I've just been trying to be so grateful for opportunity to just be able to just relax in oneself, to be rid of fear, to be rid of anxiety, to be rid of everyone else's energy, because I am such a projector by human design. I take in everything around me. I'm affected by everything around me. People, energy, forces, day, night, it doesn't matter. All of it affects me. And it's just nice to be here in my room, in the safety of my little bubble, not being affected by anything outside of that which I can control. You know what I'm saying? It's been really, really lovely. But then today, as I said, my anxiety has been up. But I know why. Because yesterday I got a call from my ex-husband, and it was my children on the line, my two youngest ones that are with him. And I haven't seen them since October because we've got contact arrangements in place, which which got cancelled by the contact centre because of an incident that took place with the respondent's family, with my ex-husband's family, which has got nothing to do with me and my children. So it was absolutely fair that the contract terminated, at the contact centre terminated our contract. But at the same time, that's what it is. So I've took it to court, and the judges basically turned around and said, if I want to talk about this matter before he's willing to talk to me about this case, I have to apply to him to ask him if we can talk about this case first. And then if he grants me permission to talk about this case, I then have to file a C-100 with a varied arrangements application to before he's willing to look at it. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So I submitted my application in October. I got that letter in November. We're now in December. And I'm sitting here making a choice as to whether or not I want to go back into court proceedings with these people that have done nothing but abuse the system and abuse me, in terms of me making appeals, me making applications, me saying that my child's education and healthcare plan was not fit for purpose and the school are not meeting his needs. And now that I've won my Sen tribunal, and the Sen tribunal, the judge there, has agreed with me that my son's educational healthcare plan was not fit for purpose and his needs were not being met, yeah, and they have ordered the LEA, the local authority, to make changes immediately, confirming that I was right all along. And I have been prosecuted for not wanting to send my children to statutory school because they're being abused and their needs are not being met. And based on the school's interpretation and the school's documentation and the courts not believing a word of what I'm saying, even though I'm a former head teacher and qualified Senko, yeah, this is my day job, yeah, or my former day job, they did not want to take my views into consideration. Even when I had external professionals, Senko professionals, I had psychologist reports, etc., all confirming that my children's needs are not being met, they did not take those professional reports into consideration either. They went with their own ideology, their own perspective, their own bullshit, and they awarded the school and my ex-husband custody of my children. When now, it's now founded that the Send Tribunal team, which is the education court, has confirmed that I was in fact correct. There's a whole heap of stuff. And then on top of all of that now, I've got spirit letting me know that it wasn't a case of being right or wrong. It was that we needed the children to be with their father so that we could take you down your route of your purpose. Do you understand where I'm coming from? So I stand in the middle of those two awarenesses. I stand in the 3D awareness that my children were taken from me. Yeah? No, I shouldn't say that. I stand in the 3D awareness that although it looks like my children were taken from me, they wasn't taken from me. The Almighty had already told me what was going to happen. So I knew the outcome of the case already, and that's why it was what it was. There was no reaction out of me. There weren't no kickoff. There weren't no whatever, because what the Almighty said was going to be the case was going to be the case. To some extent, I allowed my ego to continue with court proceedings for two reasons. One, I always wanted to be a lawyer. So I wanted to have a go at smashing it in court, and I did. I did very good. I represented myself because I'm sovereign. And if you are truly sovereign, you cannot have a Roman representing you in court. You have to stand there as the mature person and represent yourself. So whatever it is you know, and what you don't know, you get to know. And you trust that your spirit team is going to guide you through, and that's what they did for me. Yeah. So that's number one reason. My in terms of my ego, I studied law as A level. I wanted to be a lawyer when I left school. I wanted to do the bar exam. My parents didn't have the money, the finances, so I went into politics instead. But my heart was always for law. And like I said, I got the opportunity to do that. And write documents and write papers and do exhibits and learn the language of the law system and do my best. That much is true. Because I gave them a run for their money. And even the judges at the end of certain cases says to me, I smashed it. You know what I mean? My documents were on point. Not in every single hearing, don't get me wrong. Some hearings, they wiped the floor with me. Some hearings I went in there marching. Some hearings I called out the divine and said, damn, I'm standing here in blood and flesh. You know what I mean? There's so many different things that happen. Imagine I was going to a hearing every single month for 2 years straight. Can you imagine going to court every month? Every month, every 4 weeks I'm in court. Every 4 weeks I'm in court. For different cases, childcare, then finances, childcare, then finances. So they're not even the same hearing every time. Different, and some months I'm in there twice. And then some hearings are over 2 days. Yeah, man, I got put through it on a physical level, and it was like a fight with the sword, with the pen. It was a fight with the pen. It was a fight in court with words. The fight was on paper. You know what I mean? The fight was on paper, mate. And then there was the spiritual fight happening in the 5D, where there was spiritual warfare, where me and this ex-husband, this warlock, had spent many lifetimes together. We'd been here on many occasions. I'd been killed, I'd been harnessed, I've been fed on, you name it, on many lifetimes. But this time was different. This time I knew it was different because they told me in 2022 where I go on, and I made a promise to my ancestors. I made a promise to my celestial grandparents and my celestial parents that this time I will not fail. I got down on my knees at my altar, and when they presented themselves to me in their celestial forms, and told me Wagwan and who this entity was that has been following me for lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes, and how much pain and suffering my actions had caused because me getting tricked every time. You know what I'm saying? Me falling for the okie doke every time. Meant to doing it. But still it comes with consequences and impact on different dimensions in it. And when they showed me Wagwan, and I was just like, nah. When I saw the trouble, the pain in terms of my kids' perspective, nah, 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 nah. Eyes wide open right about now. They're letting me know what I go on in the spiritual sense of things while I'm here in the 3D, and they're making me know wakey. This ain't no plaything. This is a serious mission. This is a serious bomber clock mission, wakey. And I'm like, yo, I'm awake. Not a blood clot, not in this lifetime, definitely not. But I got the message from when I was 10, really. Because when I was 10, I was walking on Villa Cross Road in Handsworth, Birmingham. And I just crossed over by the Asian Resource Centre. And I was speaking to Spirit about the Bible because I was reading the Bible at the time. And I said to them, I don't want to be around when the mark of the beast comes. I don't want the chip in my hand. You know what I mean? And Spirit turned around and said, it's going to happen in your lifetime. And I said, no, I don't want it to happen in my lifetime. And Spirit was like, in your lifetime will be the new world order. In your lifetime. Does that make sense? And I was like, oh. I remember feeling like, not dread. I remember feeling like to say there was an inner knowing that was a truth, and feeling perhaps a little intimidated by the responsibility of that truth. And if I'm honest, that's probably the seed of where that ideology within me has come from, because a lot of the time I've hid behind my ex-husband or businesses or schools or other people. And when I say hid behind, don't get me wrong, I don't have a problem stepping up. But I feel like there's been times where there's been areas of my life where I probably should have stepped up on, and I haven't, because I feared the light within me. I feared the responsibility within me. I feared the role within me, the who I am, the I am me. That's what I feared, the I am me, knowing that whatever it is, it's something significant, and that there's a lot of responsibility that comes with it, and whether or not I was ready for that responsibility. And I think it's been the responsibility that has made me shy away from absolutely stepping into my I am. And you know how they say that some people can be afraid of success? It's an element of that energy. It's not the fear of success, because success doesn't make me scared. Success is an outcome, it's a byproduct of something. Does that make sense? What scares me the most is to be seen. It's to be seen in my entirety. And why does being seen in my entirety scare me so much? It's because it's scary. I feel like to see me in my entirety is scary, because as much as I am light, I am also dark. And my dark side is very scary. Very, very, very scary. Like the times when my dark side has come out a little bit, the expression on people's faces around me, and I don't know whether or not it's because my light side is so light, so it looks, my dark side presents itself as a major extreme, because it is. You know what I mean? And I think that's an element of where that, not fear, but that apprehension has come from. To really be authentic, one has to be light and dark at the same time, and be okay with that. And be okay with that. But I know that my dark has the potential to black out. You know, like I've had an experience where I've been in a fight and I've got so angry I've just blacked out and I don't know what the fuck happened. So I know that I carry that ability, that if I allow myself to get angry to a point, I then don't have any memory of what happened. I also know that I have been attacked by people, and because of being attacked, spirit has taken over my body and attacked the person, and then I woke up still attacking the person, and then wondering what the fuck am I doing with my hands around this person's neck, screaming at them, I will fucking kill them. How did I even get out the passenger seat that I was locked in the seatbelt? At what point did I undo the seatbelt? At what point did I jump on them? When? I have literally no memory of it. No memory whatsoever. I have no memory of a lot of certain things, which makes me know that it makes me know two things. One, on a physical sense of me getting angry, I know that it's it's not a good idea to get so angry to the point where I'm going to end up blacking out. I need to be able to balance that emotion. But at the same time, I can't run from that emotion, because if that emotion isn't expressed in its entirety, it then becomes toxic. Does that make sense? And I'm trying to learn and understand how I get to balance that side of me, or how I get to honor that side of me without it being presented in a toxic way. And because I'm trying to control it, that's what breeds the anxiety, because I'm trying to control it as opposed to just surrendering to it. But how do you surrender to something that's unpredictable? You know what I mean? How do you surrender to something which you know can have a negative outcome, when the last thing you would want is for that to be the case? But at the same time, it's about surrendering, because at the end of the day, anything that is meant to happen will happen regardless. You know, and even if the outcome of that was prison, then prison needed to happen, whether that be for solitude, whether that be to see if you can get yourself out of there. I don't fucking know, but if it happens that way, it's meant to happen that way. So if everything is meant to happen the way it's happened, and everything is going to happen the way it's meant to happen, then you might as well blood clot surrender regardless. You might as well surrender regardless, because it don't make sense worry about it. And I think that's where I am with it now. That's why I know that this anxiety coming in is not my anxiety, because them not only am I reaching that understanding in my mind, I'm reaching that understanding in my nervous system, in my cellular level. And as soon as I enter that thought process, anxiety is just melted away. Fear is just melted away, which makes me know it was never mine to begin with, because if it was, it wouldn't be melting away. It would be something that I would be feeling going deeper and deeper and deeper until I got to the root and the antiseed of it. Whereas now, I just feel bare air in my belly, giving me the air element symbol, because that's what these emotions in my body do. Like I've been able to study them and give them symbols now. So when I feel certain things, I can link it to one of the four elements, and that will give me translated information on top of the information that I'm already getting. So because it's giving me air and everything, it's telling me that communicate, because air represents communication. Yeah. So it's letting me know, not only is it giving me a feeling of a sensation of air where, oh, I'm lighter, I can relax. What I'm saying is the truth, because I'm not holding on to any tension. It's giving me the air symbol. So that lets me know that, yeah, release. Yeah. But on top of that, it's also telling me that the communication of releasing the words, talking about the trauma, talking about the situation, confronting the fear, control, you know what I'm saying? All of that is having an effect too. So yeah, so I went through that meditation and I just realized that I need to just focus on relaxing. I need to focus on sitting on the steps and just enjoying the taste and the fruits of life. and just really, really just benefiting and just really bigging up myself for doing that. Like today, I got through all my business posts, organized my letters and everything. Now I wanted to do that from when I picked them up. Does that make sense? And I haven't. But today I did it. I've been downstairs, I've tidied up the kitchen. You know what I'm saying? I've made myself a cup of tea. My daughter's made some breakfast. We've got chicken and all kinds of meats and everything down there from Christmas dinner and whatever. The kids are coming up today. You know what I'm saying? So I don't need to stress about anything. Everything is already done. It's already taken care of. I can just relax. You know what I mean? And it's feeling like it's the best thing for me to do, but it's also one of the most challenging things for me to do while I was still vibrating in this frequency energy that really didn't belong to me. But since the meditation and me coming to those epiphanies, I've been able to just relax. My daughter. I've been able to just relax. So yeah, but let me just put about a little few minutes of this video that I'm watching, because it's called spirituality versus witchcraft. And
It's an argument that can hold water.
Yes. It's the spirit within you sees things that you don't see in the physical world, and they can try to protect you before even.
So it's called Spirituality versus Witchcraft and Science by Dr. Mawaka. And then you've got Dr. King Ori. So it's actually by Dr. King Ori, but the man speaking must be Dr. Mawaka. And it's 11 months ago, but I was just interested in some of the concepts.
And I'm saying sometimes you reject, you see it and you reject. That is when the spirit, the intuition comes to an environmental intuition. You're talking about a normal intuition that you feel like, let me don't go, let me go, let me do this, I don't feel well, I don't feel good about this. But it goes even further. It becomes an environmental intuition. That means even the objects obeys you. Let me give a very good example. Sometimes we wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to board a flight. And you don't feel good about it. Something tells you, like, why don't you just go tomorrow? But with your ego, you say, no, I'll just go. So if your intuition power is very high, what happens is your physical spirit, your inner spirit will go out, search for somebody, drive like crazy, go and burn your house. And then because you're busy fixing your house, then you don't go to board that flight. Sometimes. It has happened. It has happened a lot of times. You are working from you are coming from home, you are going to work, and you feel not like going to work, or you had a bad dream at night, feel like maybe there's something that is not good at work. Let me don't go, but your ego tells you just go. Your inner spirit can go out and search for other spirits, helping him to find somebody who can block your way so that you don't go to work. And let me put this very clear. When I'm talking your inner spirit, I'm talking about God. Christians believe this. The Bible says the kingdom of God is within you. So when I'm talking about the spirit within you, I'm talking about the interconnection between your spirit with the higher power who is the creator. Okay. That is always trying to save you from things, especially which are just caused by other people, by other spirit. Okay. If you're well protected, only thing that is going to happen to you is that is written directly from God. If something is what happened to you which is not written by God, then God within you will try to save you from it.
This is very deep, and I think we are going to dive into interpretation of dreams now that you mentioned that, and so much more. But just to give a background, because you've said a lot of powerful things about and interesting things that like can jog your mind. Let's just give a background. You say that you come from a background,
yes,
that knows witchcraft.
Yes.
For someone who's not interacted with your content, please just lay that foundation first,
yes,
before we move on to the next item.
Okay. In the family that I came from, in the area that we are living, we are divided into categories.
Okay.
When you come to my village, you ask, I want to see some person. They'll tell you from which family. You say this family, oh, that is the family of educated people. There is a family that they just go to school. They go to school when I talk about Waswami, there's a family of Waswami. And there was a family of witches. We know that this family, don't touch their thing. If you touch their thing, you're gone. And there is a family that it has these witch doctors, I can say, traditional healers. That is my family. You go into my village and you ask people about me, they say, oh, that boy, the traditional healers, it is just like that.
Which village is this?
It's
In
Kigoma.
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 Oh, I
Yes.
know the song Kigoma.
Yeah. The home of Diamond Platinum,
Yes,
the home of Antiba and all those
Okay.
people.
Yeah.
So it is like when we grow up, from the age of 6, 7, 8 to 10, you are doing the traditional healing, even when you don't want it to. Because you have been sent, go do this, go do that, go do that. But the issue is, you cannot save somebody who has been witched if you don't know how they witched him. So in order to learn how to cure people who have been witched, you have to learn witchcraft.
You are a traditional healer.
Yes.
And you offer traditional healing solutions.
Yes.
But you have to learn witchcraft first.
Yes.
As part of your training.
Because when I'm a traditional healer, that means I do help people, or I solve problems into 3 categories. I solve physical problems. That is when I can use just normal herbs, normal shrubs, normal plants. But I also have to be able to solve psychological problems. So I have to know how to talk to people. And then I learn how to solve spiritual problems. I cannot solve spiritual problems if I don't know how spirits works. And most of the spiritual problems are coming from either witchcraft or spirits, what we call jinn, rohan, or any other names. So while growing up, if my father, my grandfather, is to teach me how to cure somebody who is maybe, let's say, crazy, I have to examine and see, okay, where does this craziness comes from? If it comes from a physical realm, it's very easy. I know what medicine, what traditional medicine can cure the work of brain physically. If I examine and I find that, no, this is not normal craziness, this is something to do with the spiritual world. So I have to know what kind of spirit affected you. How did they get into the contract with this spirit to come and make you crazy? So that is what is called witchcraft. Because if I cannot know how to tie it, I can't know how to untie it.
Okay.
Do you understand? So I had to learn so many stuff about witchcraft, because I cure people who have been witched. And I can tell in our area, that the place that I've been living, witchcraft was like something to be proud of. The family that were good in witchcraft, all the people are scared of them. They can just leave their door open and nobody's going to go there and steal anything.
We have something in Kenya called selling fear.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just selling fear. There are consequences.
From being there, from working with those things, from working in a spiritual world, there's 2 things, as I'm saying. There is psychological tortures, psychological things, but there is real spiritual things. And some of the people, they might not have spiritual power, and they can use their psychological experience to
manipulate
and make you scared.
Yeah.
But I can tell there are some with spiritual powers. They don't need to scare you. They'll come to you and say,
and that's what happened to
if
me.
you took something from me, please
hit me down.
just return it. If you don't, okay, I'm giving you 5 days to think about it.
That is it's okay. That's someone who's spoken to the devil's children and they know it is you. So they're giving you 5 days knowing.
Yes, because those spirits, there are some, they are willing to harm you, whether you did it or not. But there are some spirits which are very powerful. They can't do it unless you have really sinned. And these are the most powerful spirits.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you have sinned, it's like...
But if you've got a pure heart, they can't touch you.
They have these legal powers.
Legal powers, contracted,
something has to happen to you.
Yeah. For fuck's sake.
Okay. You understand? Mm-hmm. So it's not about making people... These things are real, brother. And if you want one day I can take you one of experiences. Anybody who wants to feel this experience, let's come see me. Let's work together. Let's try to say, okay, what do you want to see? And I can make you say it. It's very simple. And it's not like I'm boasting myself. Even you can do it. Anybody can do it. It's just knowledge.
Knowledge.
If you have that knowledge, you can do it. It's very simple.
Okay, so it happens, right? My mind goes to, this means you know the blood lines between life and death, right?
Mhm.
So how deep do you go? Like, can you speak to people who are gone? Like,
Yes,
you can speak to,
very well.
and from yeah, ukisema the family. So
The apostles speaks with God, right? Do you believe that?
Mhm.
They say they speak. They can speak to God.
Yes, yes, they do. Yes,
They do.
Yes.
Okay.
So speaking to dead people, I'm a
Yes.
simple-minded man. I'm
Yes.
like,
Yes.
so you're speaking to someone who is dead.
Yes.
So when you call him,
Yes.
anatoka kwa moto, anakuja muongea alafu arudi.
No.
Yeah.
The ability that I have, the ability that I've seen to so many people, they can hear the voice. You can hear the voice.
Also, they are burning and we are discussing like what you've called them for.
Yes.
Kwa shetani uko wanachomeka na.
That is okay. Let's talk about this.
Yes.
You think that somebody anachomeka huko. That is what you think, right? That is what you believe in Christianity, in religious.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
In religious point of view, those people are in hellfire. That is what you believe.
Yes.
But I can ask you, is there any day of judgment for your perspective?
I have been exposed to different content, so I like to believe that the day of judgment is personal. In which case, I'll just go directly because we have asked
Yes.
separately.
I want you to speak about the concept of these people being in hellfire. The same concept that tells you that, I want you to ask it, is there the day of judgment or not?
It has to be.
It has to be. Then these people have been already judged or not, if they're in hellfire right now.
Oh, I get what you mean. I get what you mean.
Exactly.
So let's put our religious belief aside. Let's speak about spirituality and the reality. These people, these spirits are living. Whether they are suffering, whether they are not, but they are living. We are living. Some of us are in prisons. Some of us are in the hospitals. Some of us are enjoying life, but we are living.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So these spirits are there. And when you call those spirits, they come. And you ask them, they tell you what you want to know from them. And they don't know it all. That is what I can tell you for sure. There's something they know. There's something they don't know. There's something they can do. There's something they cannot do.
Okay.
The only person, the only power that can do everything, can do it all, is only God. But all these other spirits, there's something they can do, there's something they cannot do. And that is when the witchcraft kicks in. If I have the connection with the superior spirits that can perform better than what your spirits can, then I'm bigger than you. You get it?
I've had the threat of.
But the issue.
So let's just what these guys are talking about, because I do think it's quite fascinating. Do you get what I'm saying? So my understanding of that is on the first point that he was making a point that if you have intuition, your intuition will tell you one thing, like don't get on the plane, but then your ego will be like, no, we've bought the ticket, let's get on the plane. Yeah. So he's saying that if you've got a really, really, really strong intuition, and you're in that position, God or your intuition will cause a reaction to get somebody else to get in a car, to drive to the airport, to cause some kind of accident with you, to make sure that you're not able to get on that plane. Does that make sense? So he's saying that based on someone's intuition and based on where somebody is spiritually, that even when we are ignoring our intuition, other interventions will come into play in order to protect us from making the wrong choice. And that's how you know that you've got more spiritual protection or more spiritual alignment than perhaps someone else. Not that it's a competition or whatever, but it's a reference to, isn't it? Yeah. So that was the first thing that they were talking about. Then the second thing they were talking about, second thing they started to talk about was, what's it about? He was talking about different, you need to know witchcraft in order to be able to heal witchcraft. And I guess in some respect, yes and no. In some respect, yes and no, because I do think that there is an inner knowing. There's been a lot of things that I haven't personally been involved in, but have still come to know them. But perhaps that is it, to be fair. Because Spirit's saying to me, it's yes and it's no. That I agree with that and disagree with that. I disagree with it because some things are inner knowing, but I also agree with it because it's inner knowing. So let me explain what I mean by that, because it's Spirit giving me that information. So what Spirit's saying to me is that yes, there is, you do need to know certain things, and by being taught it, you can deal with it. It's almost like the concept of a snake bite. You get bit by a snake. In order to heal the snake bite, you need part of the antidote is the venom. The venom performs part or becomes part of the antidote. Does that make sense? So in order to heal the condition of a snake bite, you have to be almost poisoned with the same poison to overcome to overcome the poison, and then in a kind of more kind of today kind of saying, it's like the hair of the dog. If you're drunk, they say drink alcohol to overcome the effects of the alcohol. It's like sometimes you need a little bit of the badness to get rid of the badness. You need a little bit of the fire to fight the fire. And that's the point that he's making, that in order for him to be someone who can heal people spiritually or through witchcraft, he's had to come to learn those things. But to be honest, I feel like, from what I understand from watching a little bit more of this show, he was raised in those traditional African religions. So therefore, his perspective wasn't that he was healing first. His life journey is that he learned the witchcraft first. He learnt the witchcraft first. But then at the same time, he's saying that he comes from a healing family. So maybe he was somebody that was learning both at the same time and had that opportunity. But that was just the point that he was making, that you need a little bit of the poison in order to go in to heal the poison. You need to know a little bit about witchcraft in order to heal people from things that have been placed on them through witchcraft. So yeah. But then again, for me, I'm going into shamanic healing, and most shamanic healers, I won't say most, but the ones that I have come to know and understand, haven't come from a witchcraft background, but are still able to heal people that are being spiritually attacked through witchcraft. And that's why I would say a no. So for example, my spiritual shamanic tutor, she's constantly, when we get on the phone or when we meet up, talking about some experience with some type of dark entity. And instead of using fire to get rid of the dark entity, she just uses unconditional love. She just works it through unconditional love. And when you're hitting something with the highest frequency, you don't need to know witchcraft for it. You're just giving them, an opportunity. You're giving the entity space, and you're giving the entity an opportunity to make a different choice. And I guess maybe that depends where your spiritual rank is. And then leads us into the third point, which they're just getting onto now, which is spiritual ranking. So now they're saying that somebody can come fuck with you, because this is what's happened to me. People have come try fuck with me that are spiritual people that dibble and dabble. In Jamaican terms, we say dibble and dabble. It means that they go in and out of black magic. They go in and out of obia and voodoo and witchcraft. They're not serious magic people, but they go in and out. So you got in various types of different people. People that are in it for jokes, people that are in it because it's real and they need help, and people that are deep into it. I'm talking about the people that are deep into it, that I've met along the way. And because things haven't worked out for them the way that they've wanted it to work out, because 10 steps ahead, they've got mad and then started to throw certain things at me. I'm talking about that level. People that I've met along the way that have made choices to try and come at me for one reason or another. And because I don't go on like I'm all that and a bag of chips, I just cut through whatever the Almighty wants me to do. That's what I do. That's all I'm focused on. I just cut wood. I put one foot in front of the other, and I just keep it pushing. I'm not keeping scores on what's happened, what got done. Do you get what I'm trying to say? I keep the scores before I go in. So my score before I go in is that if I accept the mission, I'm gonna 10 it and then some, and that's it. It's not, oh, what am I gonna get at the end of it, or if I do that, whatever, whatever. If it's something like the car, then yeah, that was an agreement, because they're making me know that it's gonna be a while, and I'm saying that's fine. I'll put the work in and I'll do whatever it needs to be done. But I'm asking for that when that time comes, yeah, regardless of what it is, I get to drive out of a showroom with a car. So that wasn't a that it's a manifestation, but it's not a manifestation at the same time. It's a manifestation because there is a vision of driving out in a new car, but it's not a manifestation because it's almost like a term. It's like a contractual agreement. So that's probably a better way to say it from my perspective of how I see it. I don't see them as necessarily manifestations, even though I've used the word manifestations. I see them more as contractual agreements. And I feel like that's part of my relationship with the Almighty, that I'm here and I'm aware that I'm on a mission, and I'm aware that I get missions at different points throughout the time frame of whatever it is, a week, a day, a week, a year, whatever, a month. But between that time, I get missions. So since coming back from Bali on the 6th of November, I've been on missions. And I think just after me getting licked down in the house by some entity, so when they're saying that you've got spiritual entities that act in the mental, that act in the psyche. So I've got videos in the 20s of me interviewing voodoo practitioners in Africa, and they are telling you that they use these ghosts, they call them ghosts, but they use these spirits that are in all these stone deities and shrines around their little complexes where they live, and they use them to go and whisper and get into the minds of man to tell you to do something that is against your will, but because you're being manipulated in your psyche, which I term as the fourth D, it's in the conscious, the subconscious mind level. They are manipulating you. These beings have the ability to manipulate us. These demons can manipulate us from the outside, where they're whispering to us, and they can manipulate us from the inside, where we go into contracts with them and they're able to enter our body. And once they're in our body, they're walking us around, and they're thinking for us. So we feel like the actions are ours and the thoughts are ours, but they're not really ours. They're demonic spirits. And you can have multiple different demonic spirits in you. You can have multiple different entities in you. It's like you have to think Man in Black, where you just got people and entities running around in human meat sacks. It's some of that shit going on. Because at the end of the day, when the Bible talks about principalities and evil forces and possessing man and everything, that nowhere is it recorded in any religion that these entities were destroyed. These fallen angels weren't destroyed, so where are they? They like I said, they're in the bed next to you, or they're sitting at the desk opposite you. They're just hiding out in a body. They don't have a physical body. They don't get to play in the 3D. The only way they get to play in the 3D is through manipulation and literally taking over your body. So when they use the phase or the phrase, she sold her soul, it's that, like, you've allowed your body, you've allowed your vessel, you've allowed your essence, you've allowed your divine infinity to be overrun, to be taken over, to be manipulated, to be used, to be energy harnessed by these lower level entities. You've sacrificed yourself. You've given away your light. You've signed a contract with something else that is not divine. So anyway, going back to this video, let's see what their perspective of it is.
is, God is the major one. All these spirits, if you really are godly people, they run away from. And this is where comes an interesting thing that I always speak to people about this, my fellow religious people, Muslims, Christians, my brothers. To the knowledge, to the small knowledge that I have in spirituality, I know spirits are scared, very scared of godly people. If you believe in Jesus, you don't need to mention the name of Jesus for the demon to run away. If you speak, you command the demon, whatever, in Jesus' name, first. In Jesus' name, second. In Jesus' name, third. There's something wrong.
And the demon is just looking at you.
There's something wrong.
You are in the same group.
Because if you are godly, if they know that when you mention that name, they are going to burn, they will run away when they see you. They'll tell themselves, listen, that boy, that's a very stupid boy. He's going to mention that name. Remember that boy? Yes, so let's go away. Even when you didn't mention that name, they get scared of you. So when you mention that name several times and the demons are there, there is something within you which is not right. And mostly it's just faith.
Of course.
And the faith, that is what makes spirituality.
Yeah.
The spirituality is made by faith, but faith with knowledge.
So where do you balance? You come from a background that understands witchcraft. You have to train for that, so that you know how to treat people, right? So does your job now entail making connections in the spirit world, like looking for powerful spirits, like dead politicians, or people don't die with their power from?
That's very good. From that background, I came to realize that God's power is eternal. The God's spirit, the spirit within you, the God within you, is even superior than all those spirits that have been used to tempt people, to harm people, or everything like that. It's like this. When I send a spirit, I want to send a spirit to come to harm you or do something, anything to you. Sometimes we have to send spirits to come and steal something from you, so that that thing can be used in some issues.
You see?
We'll go there. Don't worry. Okay. It happens, I send a spirit to you. The job that could take one day, it takes a month. And when the spirit is asked, he says, that guy is very tough. Tough in two ways. Whether his spiritual powers are bigger and heavier than his, or you are godly.
Two ways.
Two ways. Because
or both.
The good door for the evil spirits to enter you is only two doors. The one door is your fear and doubt.
Yep.
When you fear and doubt,
lowers your vibration.
The evil spirit can penetrate in you and do anything that he or she wants.
Yeah.
When you fear
and doubt.
That is where there is an open door for the evils or the spirits to get into you, jump into you.
When you fear evil, or what do you fear? What is this fear?
Okay.
The fear of
fear anything?
What are you fearing?
You are a godly person.
Yes.
When you doubt that God can do so many things, but in this situation, can he really do this in this situation?
We have people who have been in the hospital bed,
yes,
and they were sentenced to death. Like people accepted that they are dying.
Yes.
Right? And and they're dying, and they come back up, right?
Yes.
And we have people who are at their deathbed and they've resigned their fate.
Yes.
They've started gathering their things. They've started. Is this to say that sometimes you can speak death to yourself?
He's asking a different question.
That is another topic.
That's a completely different topic. I watch these videos and I listen to some of these presenters, and it's difficult to hear everything, especially if your point of knowledge isn't necessarily from that area. But what my mum was just saying is that there's two ways of evil spirits taking over your mind or your body, and the first one is through fear and doubt. You have to allow yourself to fear. You have to allow yourself to doubt, whether that be the fear of falling, whether that be a fear of spider, whether that be a fear of somebody taking away your man. It doesn't really matter. Fear is a vibration, it's a frequency. So as long as you allow your body to spend time in those energies and frequencies, you are at risk of negative or dense energies being able to step inside, because they are a frequency match for you. Yeah, doubt, and that's what I'm saying. I've got this anxiety. I know it's not my anxiety. I allow myself to dwell with it, but I'm also conscious that I can't sit with it for too long, because if I allow it to lower my frequency, it puts me at risk of other thoughts and feelings coming towards me. But because I know how to check my thoughts at the same time, even when they do come towards me, I'm checking them. Even like I said, it's an emotional level now. So I check myself on an emotional level, because there's nothing but these people and entities and energies and forces being sent. Some of them are not being sent. Some of them are just in the fucking air. You just have to imagine it like 5D. You can't see 5D personally, but you know it's in the fucking air because your mobile phone is tapped into that frequency. And we all heard about how evil and dark and twisted 5D was going to be. So imagine walking past the 5D polling stage. Every time you walk past a polling stage, a 5D poll, or drive past one, you're getting hit with a lower frequency. So some of the things you can't even help it. It's not even that we're calling it upon ourselves. Some of the things are just out there. Some of it is just is. And that's why it's an all day, everyday responsibility to keep one's frequency up, to keep one's vibration up, because it is it's a consistent fucking war. It's a consistent game, I should say. Yeah. So that's what he's talking about. He's talking about that having the one way is to be fear and have doubt. He hasn't said his second way, but for me, the second way that I think that entities try and enter me, if it's not through fear and doubt, then it's through I had the word in my mouth, what was I gonna say? You got fear through mental manipulation. I was gonna say, Spirit was telling me earlier, that it's through contracts. It's through contracts. So some of it is generational contracts that you don't even know that you've signed up for. Some of them are your contracts, as in before you came to Earth, you signed that contract, and the contract was that this entity or this spirit, you and them was gonna, like your baby father, the warlock. That was a contract to say that you and them were gonna book up at this particular time, and do you know what I'm saying? So what my ancestors are saying to me is fear and doubt and contracts, but it'd be interesting to see what he says as the second one. But he's just making the point that my man has gone on to a completely different subject. So let me just turn it around so you can read the title. It says, you can speak death to yourself speaking. That is another topic. Yeah, he's off subject.
Because everything was created by word of God. And there is God within you. So your word is God's word. So your word can make things happen. Your word can turn things into reality. That is another topic for another day. Okay. What I can say is, when you believe in God, to some extent, you just got doubt of what God can do to you at that particular time. That is when the evil can penetrate and do whatever they want to do.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let me put an example for my brothers, Christians. One day, Jesus walked on the water. And
they all doubted.
He was walking, and then when he got doubt, he drowned in the water. The Jesus said, "Why did you doubt? I see you walk on the water. You asked me to come and walk on the water with you. If I believe that nothing is going to happen, I'll just walk on water. The second that I doubt, that is when I will drown, because that is the door for the evil spirit to penetrate within me and make me drown."
Right.
The naysayers will say, okay.
No, you can ask.
The naysayers will say that we have people who believe.
Yes.
But why hasn't there been a replication of that? Why hasn't anyone else who believes decided to walk on water like Jesus did?
Okay. If speaking about Jesus, we speak about Christianity. Jesus himself says, if you had a faith just as small as mustard seed, you'll tell the tree, go from there, take yourself to the sea, and it will obey. You will tell a mountain, move from where you are to another area, and that mountain will move. If you only had a smaller faith as a mustard seed, to say that in this generation, we don't have those people who have that faith.
We don't have people who have that faith.
Yes, because everybody
And
is
mustard
getting
seed of
something
faith.
according to the size of his or her faith. That is in religion, and that is in spirituality. The more I believe, the more I receive. The more I believe something can happen, the more I can turn it into reality. That is what is happening. And then that is why in spirituality, we go into meditative states and we see what we want to see. We see what we want to happen. And then we instruct it to happen into reality without knowing how it is going to happen. And that is what called faith. If now I'm to tell you that you are going to be rich in 2 months, you will start to think, how, with what business, what job, right? And that is not faith. Faith is believing without having any logical reason that thing can happen. But most of our people, they don't have that faith. I can tell about some of the religious leaders. They will pray to you and they'll say, listen, God answers in different ways. That right. But you know what that means? I'm sorry, my fellow religious people, my relatives, Muslims, Christians. For what I know, let's take it to the Christianity first. There's no way in the Bible, in the scripture, that Jesus wanted to cure somebody and he got cured after tomorrow. All those people who Jesus wanted them to be healed, they healed instantly. If a man of God is there preaching, healing people in the name of Jesus, that means he is anointed. If you go to him, that means you're going to touch Jesus' cloth. There's nobody has ever touched Jesus' cloth and get healed after tomorrow.
Good point. You said that God's, the Spirit of God that is within you
Yes.
is more powerful than any other spirit.
Yes.
And you say witchcraft is knowledge where you link up with spirits that are powerful to deal with spirits that are weak.
Yes.
The strongest survive.
Yes.
If you know this, why don't you just deal with God directly, as in for general healing, directly, cut off the middleman?
Yes.
Why do you have to deal with
I'm coming to that point. I'm saying I came from this background.
Yes.
I kept learning and learning with theory and practicals. And then I came to realize that God's power within me is more powerful than every power that I've been using.
Yeah, that's
To
true.
use the godly power that is within me is even easier than using those powers which are not godly.
Yeah.
So I came to the realization that I don't need to communicate with all those spirits anymore.
No.
I just have
Speak
to
directly
my
with God.
Spirit within me.
Yeah.
And then when my spirit is up, I can command anything and it is going to happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the previous life, I would have negotiated with these spirits.
Let's break it down for us. Like in your previous life, like what could you do?
Okay.
What did
At that time that I've been using the knowledge, a witchcraft knowledge, I knew how to call these spirits, to make these spirits. I'll give you an example. I want something to happen. I give it a name. After giving it a name, I give it a symbol. After giving it a symbol, now I find a spirit that will be proud to use that symbol. When it comes, it asks what it wants. When it gets what it wants, then I can negotiate with him to come to you and do what I want him to do. But if your godly powers are you are very powerful, and I can tell this, brother, I'm speaking practically. Most of us are not that godly.
Exactly.
I repeat again. Most of us, we tend to tell people that we are
godly, but it's not in the heart.
We tend to say that yes, I can tell.
Yeah.
I can give an example.
No, not with me.
Don't diagnose. Okay. So now I came to realize that I don't need to negotiate with these things while I can command them. In the Bible, humans have been given the power
to have dominion.
Handle all those. I'm looking for a very good term. To kutawala. We have that power to dominate everything in this world. Yes. And good thing is my Muslims brothers, they believe that, and they went even far. That in their scriptures it says they have given power to dominate anything on heaven and on earth. So how can I negotiate with something that I dominate? But I can only dominate if I become godly. If that God's power within me becomes higher, that is when I can dominate these things and I can command them. But the issue is, to raise that God's power within me, it's not that easy. I have to dump myself. I have to be able to endure pain. I have to sacrifice a lot of things in this normal world. For example, to awaken my powers, to raise my powers, one of the things that I have to do, I have to fast. Fast. I'm not talking about fasting that you're fasting. I'm talking about fasting.
What is fasting?
Okay. You're fasting in the morning and you're eating in the evening. I'm talking about fasting. You only eat when you see now the line between the life and death is close here. Swear down. Another thing that can raise your...
That is so true. Listen to fucking that, you know, because this is the thing about my fasting. It's not fasting. It's not eat in the morning and don't eat in the morning and eat at night. That isn't fasting. I've always thought that, you know, how are you fasting if you break fast at a certain time? Like, you're sacrificing food, don't get me wrong, but you're not fasting. Like, fasting to me is fasting. It's zero for a time frame, not breaking. And because once you eat, you broke it, you're starting again from ground zero. Anyway, put that aside. The reason why I used to think that is because I used to work in Muslim faith schools, so I used to always be around when everybody was fasting, and then they'd talk about getting up and what they'd eat, and Chaiwala being open at 3, 4, 5 in the morning. So you know what I mean? So I used to wonder, but with myself, since 2022, Spirit has had me on these fasts, and these fasts have been lasting long, like 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, 6 days. Can you imagine going all those days with no food? I went from being like a size 8, 10 to a UK 4. Now I'm in a 6. So I lost so much weight. Like, by the time I got into the ambulance in 2024, I was just skin and bones. There was literally nothing to me. As I was in the hospital, I started to eat every day. I started to put on weight and everything else. But honestly, like, I'd been at the house, the kids were force feeding me, trying to get me to eat stuff, because when I'm trancing and when I'm working with spirit and when I'm in the zone, and this has been a true testimony over the years, food's not an option. Even when I want to eat, I've cried because I know I'm hungry. I know I need to eat, but there's just a block. I can't get anything down. Do you understand me? There's no desire whatsoever. In fact, I'm in the house, and if it wasn't for the kids here, I'd sometimes just be working, preparing papers for court. And if it wasn't for one of the kids going downstairs and getting me toast, I wouldn't even looked up and remembered food. So sometimes it's due to not remembering. Sometimes it's due to a lack of appetite, and sometimes it's due to just not being able to eat. But it's all spiritual. So it's a different type of fasting. It's like I'm on death's door. Literally, like, physically, I look like death warmed up, like I've fasted. I'm talking no titty, no batty, no meat on my legs, nothing. When I say skin and bone, I mean like scary borderline death. Raw. What my man just said is a truth for me. Like, raw borderline death.
Inner spiritual powers is by enduring pains. If I tell you now, you believe in God, right? You love God, right? And I say, okay, just go home and take everything that you possess, just give to the poor. And I believe in less than 5 days, God will give it back to you. In 100 people, maybe one will do that. 99% will not do that. Why? Because they doubt. They can say that they doubt, but they doubt. You understand me? So, in order not to doubt, you have to experience. That is when I had to sacrifice many things that were mine, give away to the needy, give away and remain.
But it's not just the physical,
nothing,
it's the mental.
And see, is this God really going to do something? When that thing is done, that is when I have an absolute faith
absolute
that,
faith
okay,
now.
God is real.
Remember when we
testimony.
started, you said, that when someone bewitches you
Yes.
with your money,
Yes.
they do not bewitch your bank account.
No.
They bewitch your decisions.
Yes.
So now you hear something telling you,
Yes.
go to your house and give everything.
Yes.
How do you know this is not that spirit
Yes.
that had been touched,
Yes.
had been sent to you
Yes.
to come whisper something,
Yes.
and
You
then
gotta do your
confuse
due
this for the
diligence.
spirit of God?
There is no spirit will tell you to give to the poor. There's no evil spirit will tell you to give to the poor.
What if it's evil poor people?
They
That
don't
is,
choose.
the poor person has gone to the
Yes.
witch doctor.
Okay.
Yes.
To what I know with experience, whatever good deed is done, the evil spirits I get tempted, I get irritated, I get scared, I get afraid, I get angry. They don't want to associate with any good deed. That is why when you want to do a good deed in the next 2 months, 3 months, even 2 years, if they sense it, they can do something to make you not do that thing in the next 2 years or 2 months. So if you're praying, for example, you read the Bible. The Bible says you have to give to the poor. Jesus said you have to give everything that you have and go and follow him. So if I recite those lines to you and I tell you now, go and find the needy wherever you want, but give it all, are you going to do it or not? Most of the people not do it.
Good point.
Most people don't. Why?
He didn't
Because
say
they
he's
don't.
gonna do
And
it.
what I want to say now is, you
Ivan did not say that. Very good point, very good point. But it was a question, and it wasn't necessarily rhetorical either. But most people wouldn't do it. But that's the thing about where I am on my personal journey. I would do it, and why would I do it? Because I'm so used to burning all the blood clot bolts right now that I don't give a shit. Burn the blood clot bolts. When I walked out of my marriage and walked out of my family house, I took the things that I could carry. You get what I'm trying to say? Like I could have took. I'm a wife, and legally there are no limits to what I could have taken. Does that make sense? The law would not have arrested me for clearing everything out. You know what I mean? Or locking up the doors or going on stupid. The law would not have arrested me for that. But I didn't. I took what the Almighty told me to take, and I left the rest. And I started from ground zero with 5 children, and I've been building every single day. And there's been things that they've told me to walk away from, and I haven't turned around and said, no way, Most High, no way, because I learned those lessons. In 2007, they told me to walk away from my business, and I decided that no, Most High, I'm going to hold on. And my friend Pete, a tarot reader, told me that, Asha, you need to stop worrying about the journey and start worrying about the destination and relaxing the journey. These understandings that I'm having now are not new understandings to me. I've just struggled to let go of the destination because I'm always in a rush to get to the end, and I don't know where it comes from. I don't know why I'm in such a rush. These are the things that I'm dissecting and really trying to understand, because I really don't need to be in a rush. But because I now know more so, not even about the rush thing, but I know about myself, and I know what the Almighty has done for me, and I know what the Almighty has shown me, I don't give a damn. Even my children, I say that it's absolutely okay for my children to be with their dad right now. As much as it burns me on a physical level, on a human level, on a 3D level, I've had to burn through those fires. I've had to alchemize those vibes. I've had to not disassociate in a negative way, like to say, I can't face it, so I'm going to bury it. Nah, I can face it head on. I know that this is all spiritual. This is being done for me, not to me. It's being done for me, not to me. And that is the only, it's not, I don't even have to focus on that understanding. I know that understanding. I have that Gnostics in me, that knowledge in me that makes me know this is being done for me, because I'm on one of the most pivotal moments of my life. I'm going through one of the biggest transformations of my life. And instead of trying to rush and get to the destination, because in all honesty, I don't even know where the fuck I'm heading. So how can I rush there anyway? I've got no choice but to be patient. I've got no choice but to be obedient. I've got no choice but to find stillness. Does that make sense? I got no choice but to lay here and rest because I don't know where I'm going. And they've deliberately done it like that because they know that I'm controlling and I'm possessive. You know what I mean? So they've deliberately locked me out and said, nah, we're not making you know nothing. And it's been the best thing for me. It's been the hardest thing, but it has been the best thing for me because guess what? I don't know nothing. I'm so it's like the real juicy bit of it is that I'm about to take ayahuasca. I'm going to be taking ayahuasca soon, and I know that I am already going through ayahuasca experiences. I'm already connecting to this plant-based medicine that I haven't taken, but I can feel already. Like there is already a familiarity, there's already a knowing. Even when I'm talking to you, I'm having visualizations of me being in the Amazon. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, just so there's anxiety around it. I've been watching people's ayahuasca journeys, and this girl this morning, she literally had vomiting and diarrhea for a whole experience. She was passing out. She was unconscious most of the time. Like probably one of the worst ayahuasca experiences I've ever listened to. But I'm not worked up from her experience or anybody else's experience because I know my experience is my experience and my experience alone. I think it's and that's why I know that the feelings of anxiety are not my feelings because that's not generally how I feel. What I feel about the experience is just surrendering. Like I don't need to think about oh it's gonna be like this or oh it's gonna be like that. If the experience is to vomit, I accept vomiting. If the experience is diarrhea, I expect diarrhea. If the experience is wilding out, I accept wilding out. Is the experience of me in my all out demonic self, I accept me all out in my demonic self. If the experience leads me to levitate off the ground and fly, I accept levitating off the ground and flying. It's not I don't care, like I don't have an emotional connection to it all, but I don't care because I literally don't have an emotional connection to it all. I will always repeat things twice sometimes to say that it is that and it is that and it's exactly the same because it is a walking contradiction. It's neither black or white, it's neither good or bad, it's neither up or down. It's equilibrium. It's just riding the line of life. It's just balancing on the line of life, the game of life. And that's where I see myself. So yeah, I'm getting ready to go down this journey because I feel like this journey is gonna answer a lot of unanswered cellular memories. Like there's memories on cellular level that are coming up, but there's more, it's deeper. You know what I mean? It's deeper. And I want to see. And it's got scary for me, especially in 2024, before I was sectioned. It got really scary for me. The dark side got really, really scary. And not scary, ooh, scary, what the fuck, blood? The blending of the alternative and multi-dimensional realities. And what was real and what wasn't real, and everything is real. It was just like, wow. It was a full-on mind fuck. And I think about whether or not this experience would be a mind fuck, but I'm also reassured that, Bab, I've already experienced mind fucks. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been on psychedelics anyway. So whatever the ayahuasca, whatever grandma wants to throw, or whatever grandma wants to whatever, let grandma do it. But then again, in this meditation today, it came out to say, why do I think it's going to be the worst outcome? Why am I thinking that it would be the worst outcome? Why am I not thinking that I'm surrendering and whatever it is, it's beautiful? Because that's my usual thought process. And that's why I have to check the thoughts that come into my head to know if it's my thought or it's an external thought. And I can use testimonies to confirm, but it's an external thought because my thoughts are usually, it is what it is. I'm glad when it's dark. I'm glad when it's dark and I'm glad when it's sticky. I'm glad when it's peat because the ascensions are higher. The ascensions are bigger. Like the catapult from one position to the next is grand. The reward is bigger. The outcome is bigger. So the darker and deeper and scary, the more faith I need to have, the more courage I need to have, the more obedience I need to have, the more I need to be fearless, the bigger the outcome. So why would I be afraid of whatever it is? I welcome all of it. I welcome all of it. I welcome all of it. Ain't nothing but a chicken wing. So yeah. So we're just gonna do 5 more minutes of this because it's quite a long video. We're 45 minutes in and we'll take it up to 50, and then we'll pause on this. But I just thought it was interesting how he's talking about these spiritual and witchcraft concepts, you know, because at the end of the day, I've been talking about whether or not my experience is about mental health or whether or not it's about spiritual expansion. And this is what I'm saying. When you talk to African Hinduism, um, certain Asian other beliefs, etc., or religious context beliefs, they share that there are you know, the ability to hear voices, or that there are spirits around us, etc., etc. So we already understand this in a spiritual sense. So why don't we understand this in a mental health sense? You know, why are we not understanding that a huge part of mental health has a direct link with spirituality, and even a link with with religious beliefs too? So therefore, we can't be sectioning people that are experiencing things that they might deem to be mental health, because the very description of mental health is everything that I'm learning that comes as part of the job description as a shaman. Can you imagine that? Everything on the job description of what quantifies a shaman is what's on the description of what identity dissociative identity disorder / psychosis mean. So what does that say? It says we've got a fucked up system, and we need to reevaluate all the people that we've put in the mental health institution to have them properly assessed to know whether or not they're in there for the right fucking reasons, or if these people been locked up because of their spiritual beliefs or their religious ideologies, because the people that have been assessing them have been ignorant and culturally incompetent. So yeah. Oh shit, sorry.
Faith in their witchcrafts than you have faith in your God.
Yeah, they have more faith in their witchcraft than faith in their gods.
Okay.
The witches have faith in their witchcraft because they have been using it, they have been utilizing it, it has been used practically. That is why they have total faith in it. It's like knowing that if this finger is taken away, I'm going to remain with 9 fingers. That is not faith, that is knowledge. You know for sure that when this finger is taken away, I'm going to remain with 9 fingers, right? That is knowledge. Yeah. Witchcraft is knowledge. The evil spirits, they're using knowledge. I came to realize that if I awaken my inner powers, I don't need to negotiate with any spirit. I can just command them to do what I want them to do, and they'll do it. The only thing, the price that I have to pay is to just deny myself and submit to God in a physical world, psychological, and spiritual world. When I become high, then I can command anything. And
agree.
This is what is supposed to be done by our religious people, because God is real.
Real.
Religions, they're just institutions, ways to reach to God.
Yeah.
And in my opinion,
it's individual
I see
things.
Somebody who says he's Muslim and all Christians are going to hellfire. I'm saying this is a young boy, even if he's an old man. And yes, even when I see a Christian says these Muslims, all of them are going to hellfire, I say no. You don't live in spiritual world. We're just living in a religious world, in an institutional world.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say up here is, in a spiritual world, when your powers are up, you can command anything, even in a religious way. An apostle, if he raises his spiritual power within him, he can command anything, because God is real. As long as he's working for God, he can command anything. The issue is, does his spiritual power that high to be able to command this stuff? Okay. So I came to the state that I know if I want something to happen, I know what to do. It might take me 21 days inside my room, glorifies God. It can take me 5 days fasting. It can take me get something that I love the most and give it away in God's name.
Yes.
So that I can ask God in return. And this is another point that most of us are failing. We want favors from God. We recite lines of God to ask favors of God, but we don't mention what we did, because there's other lines in the scriptures that want us to do something. We didn't do anything, but still we ask for something.
Right. So wasn't that what I was saying earlier? Most of people that praying are praying to get something from God, or they're doing good deeds in order to get something from God. Do you know what I mean? And it's how it's actually taught. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like the system teaches that, to be fair, whereas I've never been that type of prayer. My ancestors have never guided my prayer in that way. I will not, if on previous videos you'll hear me say that I don't ask God for nothing. I'm not here praying saying, God, can you do this for me? God, can you do that for me? God, can you this and God, can you that? Because I don't see myself as wanting for much. Like right now, I could be praying, God, can you bring back my children? God, can you make sure that they're safe? God, can you make sure that I'm safe? God, can you do this? God, can you do that? Like, that's not how I do my thing. I know that I already am safe, so what the hell am I asking for it? I know that I am protected, so what the blood clot am I asking for it? I know that the bills are gonna get sorted, so why am I asking for it? I know when you know something is the case, you don't need to ask for it. Asking becomes irrelevant, because if I ask for it, that means I never believed that it was the case in the first place. If I'm saying to myself, my God Almighty, you're taking me down this dark road right about now, you want me to fly to another country? Because that's what happens to me. The Almighty was like, I need you to get on a plane, get your bags packed, we're going. Where we going, you don't need to worry. Sometimes it's the night before, the day before, 2 days before. I think the most I've had is a week before notice, and even that wasn't enough, because you needed 10 days to get the visa from Nigeria. But Spirit's got me booking it 1 week, if to the point where I don't even get to fly to Nigeria, and the money's just dash away. And Spirit's like, don't worry about the money. We're booking the next flight now. You're going here instead. To bumper clock. That's how I live my life, man. I live my life just like that, spontaneously. And I couldn't do that if I had my two youngest. My older three, they're big people. They can survive on their own. If I take a flight and I go away for a week, which is what I've been doing this year, 2 weeks here, 2 weeks there, whatever. I can do that, but I couldn't have done that with my younger ones. School wouldn't have permitted that. That's why I wanted to homeschool my children, so that we had autonomy and flexibility, that we could travel the world and learn about the world and learn about this school called this Earth School. You know what I'm saying? I've been dedicated to this shit. But as I said, I wouldn't have been able to do the things that I've been able to do in the last couple of years if I had the children. And this is what the divine, this is what the Most High, this is what my spirit team was making me know from the jump. And that's why it was okay, because I knew once the missions and that was over, it would be quack, 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 and all 5 ducks would come back. And that's what they promised me. You know what I'm saying? So I don't, when I sometimes these thoughts come in and I'm like, are my children all right? Or last night, when the ex-husband called me and it was the kids on the phone, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can maintain my feelings. I'm not overwhelmed with emotions, because I know my children are good too, because telepathically I'm with them. I listen to them, I hear them, I make sure they're safe, and not I make sure, but I know that they are safe. My spirit team will go and check on them, come back. You know what I'm saying? So I know that the Almighty has kept the promise that He made to me in the first place, that the children will be okay, even though they're with, who they're with. The children will be okay. You know what I'm saying? And that's just pure. That's beyond faith. That's Gnostics. That's knowledge. That's inner knowledge. I know that is the case. I know that Almighty has done that. It's already been 2 years and it's been that. So why would it be any different now? So if I had faith then, imagine where my faith scale is right now. My children are happy. My children are bunny. I dropped off presents on the 1st of December for them to open every single day right up until the 25th. And yesterday I got to confirm that they got the presents. They loved the presents. It was everything that they asked for. I fucked up on one of the presents because I bought my son £250 worth of Fortnite vouchers when I should have got Roadblock. I should have got Roadblock V-Bucks or whatever, and I ended up getting Fortnite. But he said, no, man, he's going to use them on his Fortnite game. Do you know what I mean? And then my little daughter, I told she asked for a P. Louise Christmas advent calendar. And I says to her, open it up on the first. And it sounds, yesterday she told me that she opened up every single one of them on the first. I'm like, Shaya, you're supposed to open up one every day and it until the 25th, you know what I mean? But she's enjoying it so much, she has. And that's you know, and obviously it's not just about that, it's on feeling their energy, hearing their energy. Obviously they miss me, obviously I miss them. You know what I'm saying? But imagine how worse it could feel right now. Imagine if I was looking at this in a completely different perspective, how affected I would have been or could have been over hearing their voices and not having them, because I love my children unconditionally. I love my children. You know what I mean? Like the feelings that I have for them, you know, they're unconceivable, man, in terms of knowing that I've known them for so many lifetimes too, knowing that they're just not mine today. You know what I'm saying? But also knowing that they're serious spiritual beings in their own right. That it's not just about this earthly experience where they've come through me, through my body to be here on this planet. They are big bad and bocha ascended masters in their own individual right, from the oldest right the way to the smallest. So even without my protection, they're able to protect themselves. Like we're like the fucking Avengers, man. You know what I'm saying? We're like the fucking Bomberclat Avengers. Don't get it twisted. So all that worry and all that concern, it's just misplaced. It's just wasted energy. There's no point. Everything is as it should be. And I surrender to that. I surrender to that wholeheartedly. Wholeheartedly. Everything is good. My children know I love them. They know I love them. Spirit has shown me how much my children love me. Even without my children going as deep as what Spirit showed me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I cried when I saw what Spirit showed me about my own children and how they feel towards me. And I know how I feel towards them. And it's because it's lifetimes. It's not just this lifetime. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Okay. Explain.
Okay.
Because you mentioned sacrifices,
Yes.
and I didn't want you to leave without explaining that.
Yes.
Because hapa nyuma kidogo, you mentioned spirits, you mentioned contracts,
Yes,
and things that can happen to you.
yes.
So before we move on to the next point, this idea of we have Kenya, there's a belief that some accidents are not normal accidents.
Yes.
They have been manipulated,
Yes.
In an area beyond
That she
the living.
sacrificed.
Yes.
We've had people going to pray in certain locations because they believe that there's something wrong here,
Yes.
that people die.
Yes.
Is that true? And please take us through
Yes.
how this happens,
Yes.
and take us through how this happens,
Yes.
and what it means, what sacrifices mean,
Yes.
and if at all,
Yes.
we have the things called human sacrifices,
Okay.
and how they work.
Okay.
Before we proceed to the next
Okay.
point.
In spiritual realm, what we know is whatever God wants, the devil wants. It's like a competition. God, the devil wants something that is supposed to be done to only God. The devil wants to be worshipped, but the worship is only for the higher power. Worship is only for God, but the devil want to be worshipped. And that some people are worshiping God, devil. The sacrifices are for God, but the devil wants sacrifices. Let me take you back to the Christian scriptures. Abraham, where he was told, he was told to sacrifice his only son.
Yeah.
You see, how does it pain to give away your only son? You can give your clothes, you can give your cars, you can give whatever it is, but to give your only son, You can imagine how deep it is. That is where God wants you to be. But the problem is, that is what devil wants you to do. So, there are intentional sacrifices and unintentional sacrifices. And I'll elaborate this. There are some people, they want things in this world, but they want shortcuts. And devil can promise them that you can get a shortcut from
get a
this.
shortcut,
It's very simple. Not only in spiritual world, even in physical world. I can give you a very good example. I am powerful. I have pistol and everything. You have money. That guy says, I want that money from that guy. I can say, okay, I can go take it for you. Even in a physical world, it can be done. I can come and shoot you, take the money, and give the guy. But it depends on what he's giving me. So in the spiritual world, it is the same thing. You want money, the devil spirit, evil spirit say, yes, we can give you money. It's not an issue. We can go and manipulate somebody and spend money in such a way that that money will come to you. You understand me? But the issue is, what is this evil spirits gets out of that transaction?
And this is where they would ask you, say, to sacrifice someone you love in your family,
yes, or a number of people.
Or a number of people. Why is the devil using you as a broker? Why don't they just kill the person for themselves?
They need a legal, let me put it, I'm not good in English, you know. Yes,
you're good in English.
They need a legal justification. That I kill these people by using your people. The devil is trying to prove God wrong, that he can mislead us. If he is to kill, to manipulate people, to kill people, that means he failed to manipulate you to cause death to people. And what devil does, he's trying to prove to God that he can manipulate us. Killing us is not his ambition. It's not what he wants to do. What is his mission is to manipulate us, to mislead us, as he promised that he's going to mislead us, and he'll go to the hellfire with us, with as many of us as
God's people as possible.
And there's a
From a
question
biblical
on
sense.
Our episode with Bamboo,
yes,
which you mentioned that you had interesting points, and I believe you have interesting points.
Yes.
Why is God waiting for judgment today? Why can't he just deal with the devil once and for all?
Let me put a very simple example. If it's now a President Ruto says he can fight you in a box ring, right?
Yeah.
And you stand on a box ring, and then he calls his security and they beat you. Who won? You won. Because he showed that he could not win you in the ring. That's why he uses his people to kill you or to beat you. So if God kills devil, he will be proven that he cannot control God or misleading us. All I can say is, it's just God's pride and devil's ego. That's all.
Unintentional sacrifice. I know our people will have a field day with that one. Unintentional sacrifice.
Okay.
Yes.
Unintentional sacrifice, that is what is hunting a lot of people now. There are some people, they got into contracts with these evil spirits without knowing. There are some people has reached a point that to reach that point, these evil spirits must be involved. That is when they have to make sacrifices, even when they don't want to do that. I'll give a very good example. There is a certain way that people want to get rich, and they're told to give away either one or two of their children. And most of the time, it's not about killing them, it's making them crazy. Have you ever heard?
Oh my God, is it gonna get into? Yeah, these people try to make me go off my head. So I'm having an experience that has led to my mental health. Me being me being sectioned. You know, can you imagine? I've been sectioned under the mental health. My mental is my meditation and my mental is like a fucking stud. Yeah, but these people are trying to get me to go off my head. They're literally trying to take me outside my head. So I'm having a spiritual experience where it's my own ascension that is leading me to enter multiple different universes. But I'm also being attacked at the same time spiritually, and things trying to enter my body or take over or do certain things and trying to convince me to do this, and there's all kinds of fucking going on. But honestly, that's what it was. And when I ended up going back to Africa, because I went to Africa the first time in on the 14th of February 2024 before I went into the madhouse. And then I went back to Africa on the 14th of February 2025. And when I went on that occasion, I met this woman who I was supposed to do an ayahuasca retreat with, but I decided not to do it with her. But she had told me while we were sitting down in the room where I was supposed to have my ayahuasca, that there was this girl who should have been queen. She should have been she should have been crowned queen, but instead her parents locked her up in a madhouse and said she was mad. And one day she escaped and was running down the street screaming. Do you understand me? Screaming to get away, and they ended up catching her and putting her back in the madhouse. Just a random. I mean, don't get me wrong. There was nothing random about this experience on this whole week that I was with these people. But it was less than a week because I got off early. But the situation was random from where we was and what we were doing in the room to the point where she said what she said. You know what I'm saying? But I know that there's been certain things around me that has been trying to make me lose myself. But you can't lose I cannot lose myself because I'm tethered. I'm tethered to the Almighty. I'm not gonna wander off. There is that, you know, the soulmate code. I'm tethered to the blood clot Almighty, you man. I don't need to have hands or foot or nothing on him. I'm just tethered. There is already a connection between us. I don't need to worry about where my faith is and what I'm gonna do next, and if the Almighty is gonna be there to support me, or no, I don't need to waste no time in that because I already know what it is. I know what time it is. And the love, the support, the protection, everything is guaranteed, period. You know what I mean? So yeah, I just yeah, it's a different situation. It's a very, very different situation. And it's an unconditional situation. It's unconditional love, it's unconditional awareness, it's unconditional Gnostics. It's just, I know that the Almighty is with me. Like you couldn't tell me nothing. Nobody can tell me nothing. I've lived it, I've seen it, I've experienced it, I've died in it how many times, and I'm still here to tell the tale. So let's see what he said.
You had something called Indonocha?
No.
If you go, okay, I'm sorry, I'm not talking about all rich people. There are rich people who got their money purely clean and in a righteous way. But for those who did not get that money in a righteous way, that money is not purely clean. Most of them, they did one or two things. They allow one of their children to be half crazy, half okay. And most of these people, they have these young boys, young girls in their homes. And they love them so very much. They take a very good care of them. This is another topic, because that is the good connection between spirits and humankind. The spirits can use unwell people well to communicate in a physical world. They need those people. That is that topic for another day. Mm-hmm. But what happens is, for these people who did not sacrifice their children, but they are fully, their wealth, very wealthy and non-righteous wealth, you know what's happening? Their children are going to be disturbed. Look, just put down the numbers of the wealthy people that you know, and go down, look what their children are doing. Not all of them, but most of them are not going in the right track.
Someone would argue yes, that the amount of effort you need to make money,
yes,
you are so busy, yes,
that
you do not have the time,
yes,
needed to give attention, yes, to a child,
yes,
to give, as in to actually follow through all, yes, the processes. You're, yes, always busy,
yes,
so you don't have the time.
Yes.
So this is an unintended consequence,
yes,
of not having time for your children.
I agree, and I agree to that argument, but I'll have another argument as well. Mm-hmm. If I make money for my family, that means my family is priority. Mm-hmm. If a poor person can raise a child well, why can't I raise a child well while I have everything? I can hire good people to take care of my home. If you're hiring a housemate who is class 7, I can hire a PhD person to take care of my family because I have that money. You understand me? Mm-hmm. But let's go back there. There is other people who are fully at home and their children are going astray. And what about that? If the matter is, if the issue is time, that I don't have time to take care of my children, that's why one of them goes astray. What about those who have all the time for their children and the children can go astray?
See, maybe they made a deal with the devil, but they underput it.
This
That
this
is what I'm talking
presenter
about.
is
Even these wealthy people, when the wealth is not coming in a righteous way, the devil is going to be involved. And it is going to be involved in such a way that you don't even know. Because there is this called the Mormons. Mormons are one kind of spirit that loves that kind of wealth. Let's take back to the example that I gave you in the beginning of the show, that if you're my friend and you drink, I'll go to the bar with you. These spirits that love wealth, that manipulate people by using wealth, when you see that you have wealth, they become your friend. Because they love wealth. They use wealth to manipulate people. So wherever there is wealth, they will just come to that wealth. So you become friends with the spirits that loves money because you have money. They come there. But at the end of the day, what they have to use, they use your money to manipulate people, to make harm to people so that they can glorify themselves. What I'm saying is, there is some people are doing sacrifices, or sacrifices happening to them because they have wealthy. And the devil is using that wealth to manipulate people. You accumulated wealth in non-righteous way.
Yes.
That means you have made a friendship with evil. Because you take something from somebody which is not belonging to you, you have sinned. You have opened the door for the evils to get into you. I spoke it in the previous phase. One of the doors for the evil to get into you is when you sin. Okay. Remember, one door is when you doubt and fear. The other door when you sin. Whenever you sin, you open the door.
okay. So we wanted to know what he was going to say. And I said contract. He's saying
you're
sin.
opening doors for those evils to come closer to you. And for those who love wealth, they come to you because they love wealth. And there is other people who love drinking. Those spirits who love drinking, they go to him. It's just like making friends. Whatever you love, there's people will come to you, and there's spirits who will come to you.
Which is no different
So
from
for
find
these
your
who
vibe,
accumulate
find your
wealth,
tribe.
These spirits that loves wealth, they come to him, whether he like or he doesn't like. And what they do to him, they use that wealth to manipulate people, to manipulate himself, to make him make so bad decisions that are going to harm people or manipulate people. They use your wealth so that that wealth can manipulate other people and they can glorify themselves. So what I'm saying is, if you have accumulated wealth, you just need God. There is no way. You just need God. But the bad thing is, God does not intervene people's covenant. Mungu haingilii maagano ya wanadamu.
He does not interfere.
He does not interfere. If you have an issue with your fellow person, you have to go and fix it and then come to God. God does not have any problem. He's going to bless you. But you cannot take something from me illegally and jump and run to God expecting that God will favor you. That's not happening. God will tell you, go fix with that person. If he's okay with you, come to me. I'll bless you.
And in terms of people who entered covenants that they don't know about, is this where you talk about inherited misfortunes?
It's something like that.
Things that were done by your forefathers?
Yes.
You pay for them.
You pay
The
for them.
contracts.
And most of the time, most of the people, we pay for it. And why we pay for it is because there is a curse which is familial or generational. And Muslims, okay, I always like to refer to this because I know what people who are watching us, most of them must be either Muslims or Christians. Non-believers are not very, very, very many. In Christians, they say in the scripture that God's Mungu anapatiliza maovu ya babu, yes, even the third to fourth generations. In Islam, say the same thing. So sometimes we can suffer the consequences, not only bad consequences. We might suffer good
I
consequences.
think he said
because our fathers did something good to people.
He just spoke in African, and my ancestors said what he said in African was the sins of the father will be on the child. Yeah, that was my interpretation of what he just said in African, but he hasn't provided the interpretation.
God blessed them in their generation. Some people did bad things, evil things there, and then they have been punished, them and their generation. For example, when you talk about Israel's, right? There is Israel that we are talking about now. They're gone, they're died, right? But their sons and their grandsons, we still call them Israels. And if they have to suffer, they suffer. Not their grandfathers, it's the children and grandchildren. The Israel that we know now that are favored by God, not as the Israels that God has been speaking about 2,000 years ago. Those have gone. Now it's their grandchildren.
Is it possible to break away from a curse that has been written for you from generations?
Yeah, you can break a generational curse.
Yes. And that is where spiritualists kicks in. If there is a curse back then, that is going to be generational. You want to go to God. God is telling you, you have to go and fix it. There's two ways to fix it. One way is going back to them, those who maybe your father, grandfather did something wrong to them. If it's not possible, then you have to pass the pain way to pay the price. And I told you the pain way is not like that hard. Is rejecting yourself for God. If God feels that you have got pain enough to pay the debt, for example, you accumulated wealth, and you realize this wealth, the origin of this wealth is our great-grandfather. And there was a curse back then. Okay, you can make a sacrifice. And I'm talking about painful sacrifice. And this is what most of the people cannot do it. When I say painful sacrifice, is when you give like all.
I give myself away. It's like all.
Now we can see people in the mosque and churches, they have 1 million in the bank and they give maybe 100,000. No, that's too much. They give 1,000 as an offering. That's not an offering, that's a play. God wants you to give something that really touch you. If you have 1,000 and you give 500, God said, yes, this has paid himself for me.
I don't think
that's why the first sacrifice was from Abraham. I
think when it's used, I think it comes across distasteful because God is not in that. God is looking for us to sacrifice, which is why I say the Almighty, there's a mission to be done. There's work to be done here on earth, and because just like there was a war in heaven, there is a war here on earth. And it's not that I'm all negative and everything is about war, but that's what the temperature is at the moment, that there is a fight between the good and evil, between light and dark at the moment, and there probably always has been, you know what I mean? But either way, that's the play. So in order to do God's work, there's work to be done. So it's my mission to be on mission and make sure that every day I'm working towards either doing missions for the Almighty, and when I'm not doing a direct mission for the Almighty, I spend the rest of the time working and healing on myself, all the things that I need to do. And that's like the agreement, that's the relationship that I have with self. I'm either working on a mission direct, or I'm working on myself as a mission. And those are the two things that I focus on. So when he talks about sacrifices, it did turn around and say that the sacrifice is easy, but it's easy in a sense where it is literally just about surrendering to the Almighty. But it's one of the hardest things I've ever had to do, to give up control as such a controlling person. To relinquish fear when all I've been done is been made to feel scared most of my life. You know what I mean? To walk in the darkness when I've been afraid of the dark. Or I only started to sleep with the light off at 36 years of age. Because of all the spirits and entities and everything that just attack me or around me all the time. Do you know what I'm saying? So to be able to walk through those fears to the point where I'm fearless, to the point where I'm having to go into court every day, as scary as it is going against the ex-husband and he's got 6 people with him and it's just me one alone walking in, or there's situations where 6 security guards are coming upstairs to get rid of. I'm having to just stand 10 toes down with the Almighty and say, not our blood clot. You know what I mean? I'm in here today in fucking blood and flesh with the Almighty Divine. You can't tell me nothing. You cannot tell me nothing. And to walk with that power in the 3D, to walk with that power in the 4th D in my mind, and to fly with that power and knowledge in the 5D. Yeah, it took work, man. The sacrifices were real, man. It took work. It took experience. It took me having to go through it to see that God has got me for true. You know what I mean? But it definitely not been easy. I've sacrificed myself. I feel like I've sacrificed myself 100 times. Everything that I believed or thought that I was, I'm not. Throw it away. Everything I believe and think that I am, I'm not. Throw it away. Every time I've come to understand something new about myself, I've had to be prepared to kill the old me. You know what I'm saying? And when you watch yourself go through so many deaths, deaths in a sense of realizing who I am, deaths in a sense of past lives, deaths in a sense of fucking going around in this bullshit and people killing me off how many times, death in a sense of me in the 3D waking up in a morgue. You know, like the where these experiences have taken me, I'm telling you, man, I've shit bricks. But then just had to still walk with one step in front of the other, walk with courage, walk in the divine knowing that I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm always good. Even when it don't look good, I'm good. That's the truth. Even when it don't look good, I'm good. I'm always good. That's what I know.
His own son. But you have millions. That's a play. So in order to cut these curse, there is some sort of sacrifices that will make you have pain. So with that pain, now you go to God, you said, I have paid the price.
I've seen people who give all their lives, all their salary,
yes,
but still nothing to show for it.
Like how?
Let's say, for example, someone I know was trusting God for a husband, and they used to give their full salary to church.
Yes.
Because they knew a miracle would happen.
Yes, yes.
And I don't think he did.
Okay, what I can say is, God is closer to you than your religious leader. And this will be another topic for another day, but let me break it down a little bit. Do you know that God is not going to do anything for you? And God is not doing anything for you. Because he doesn't need to do anything for you.
What does that mean?
It means God is not going to do anything for you.
Then
God is not doing anything for you.
Why do we pray?
Why? I will ask you. I will ask you, why do you pray?
Because you trust God. You have faith.
What is praying?
God will control.
Because in the scriptures, praying has been interpreted in two words in Swahili. Praying kuswali, praying kuomba. What is your praying? Unaomba, unaswali. Okay, let me put it this way. God is not doing anything for you. He doesn't have that business. Because he doesn't need to do anything for you. Why? Because he has already done everything for you. Everything that you would want is already there.
That's what I believe.
Everything that you could have done in this world, it's already there.
Yeah.
Everything that you could have asked him for,
it's already provided.
There.
What are you asking for then?
Okay, let me give you a very simple example.
That's my understanding.
When you say you want roads in Kenya, you say you want Ruto to build the roads in Kenya, right? Does he touch a spade?
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't.
No.
But the roads are being built, right?
Yes.
And we say, when in the campaign, we say Ruto and his administration built the roads. But they did not touch a spade.
Because he controls the resources.
That is the point that I want to tell you now. If you cannot make Ruto raise his hand to do something for you, can you make God raise his hand to do something for you? No, just ask yourself. If you cannot make Ruto raise his hand to do something for you, can you make God raise his hand to do something for you? Let me break it down.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, that's an obvious point, isn't it? But realistic point with what I thought he was going to make when he started the argument was the fact that God doesn't have to do something for you because it's already been done. Like, the agreement and the negotiation of what's going to happen is already being agreed. So anything that you're asking for has either already been asked, is on his way, or is not meant to be yours. So for me personally, I don't pray and ask. I don't like begging anyway. I don't like asking. I don't like asking. And you know what? I'm still trying to work out if I don't like asking because it's a worth issue, Or I don't like asking because it's a royalty issue. Like it should just be provided. Like, why do I need to ask? I don't like to ask. You know what I'm saying? I don't like to ask. I like to be provided. I like it when it's seen what's needed and it's provided. And it feels more special to me when somebody does it without me asking. If I have to ask for it and you give it to me, it, it, I feel like it feels worse to receive it because I had to ask for it. And I don't like the feeling of asking. The feeling of asking makes me feel like a peasant. The asking feels like it's got peasant energy to it. It's like my kids are like, please, mum. I always say to them, don't beg. Do not beg. There's no please, mom, please. You come to the table and you bring your argument. You know what I'm saying? Mom, can I have this because of A, B, C, D, and E? It might be I washed up, I tidied my room. It might be I've done good at school. It might be, oh, remember last week when you know what I'm saying? Whatever it is. But you come and you present your you put your negotiation on the table. As long as your point's valid, yeah. But if your point's not valid, then no. Does that make sense? But you should be able to come and say, can I have, and based on whatever. Does that make sense? But there should be no please, 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 no. I don't know what it is, but the begging concept has always bothered me. You know, but like I said, it's either due to the royalty lineage that I hold, that it feels quite peasanty to me, or it's about worth that I don't feel worthy enough to ask, because there has been situations, especially when I used to be a hairdresser. I didn't used to like asking people for the price of their hair. Like, if I didn't negotiate the price before the hairstyle and I've just gone there and they've just said to me, just do any style because they know that my styles are tough. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't know how to kind of charge for the hairstyle at the end. Like, how am I working out things? I'm not taking the time it's took me, the distance, my travel, the materials. Do you get what I'm trying to say? The labor, whatever. In order to make a definitive thing, I used to be quite indecisive with it. You know what I'm saying? And that stems from a place of worth. So yeah, that's probably just one area. But let's see where he goes with it anyway.
And disclaimer:
God is too big for what we want to ask for. God is too big for him to do something for us. If now I want something from the government from the president, he has a lot of people to do those things for him. God has trillions of creations to do things on his behalf. He doesn't need to do anything. He doesn't need to move a hand. He doesn't even to speak a word, because he has done that already. If you want to see a president right now, you have your problem. There is a channel of command that you go through, and sometimes you don't even reach to him, but your problem will be solved. Okay. That is a very small creature like me and you. We have the system that our people's problems will be solved, even not touching us, even not us do anything. Those are small creatures. When I talk about the president, kings, they're very small creatures in God's kingdom. If these creatures have God's systems, what are you telling me about God?
Very well explained. Very well, very well explained. So now I'm interested to know. You say that for the devil to have access into your life, or the evil spirits, you either have doubt or you sin. Okay?
Yes.
I'll tie it to two things. Most people think sin is sex, or most people believe sex is sin, right?
Okay.
And there's one that sex is more spiritual. Before we go to interpretation of dreams, sex is...
I'll do 5 minutes, and I've done a lot longer than 5 minutes, so I'm going to call it a day. But I will watch the rest of it, but I won't record it. There's another probably 50 minutes, just under 50 minutes remaining. But yeah, I really do like to kind of listen to these perspectives and debates about spirituality, witchcraft, spiritual expansion, mental health, etc., because it's all very much one. All right, so on that note, Merry Christmas.